everyone. Nate here with the Concrete Wasteland. I am sitting here with Zach from Advantage Vocal Lessons. I do believe that I get that right.
You did. I'm surprised you didn't call me anything worse, to be perfectly honest. I'm so proud of you.
He's horrible. He makes me feel like shit all the time. No, Zach's a wicked dude. We first met each other about, I think it was just about a year ago, actually, around this time last year. Where,
thank you, Sterling.
Yeah, we met through a mutual buddy of ours, Sterling. He gave me some vocal tips, and long story short, if you are an aspiring vocalist and you need help, you need to hit this guy up. I'm pretty sure Zach could attest to this, or maybe he'll just be like, nah, delusional, you still fucking suck. But the advice I got from him, even in just one session, helped me tremendously. So if you are a vocalist out there, doesn't matter if you sing or scream, both styles will be easily helped by what this man can provide. But to dive more into, Zach, tell us a bit about you. How have you been? What do you do?
Oh, okay. You're going to put me on the spot like that.
Oh, you know it.
Segues. Love it.
Oh, that was my segue. Introduce you, just get you thrown off guard a little bit and be like, oh, wait, what? Now I got to follow that?
Perfect.
Oh.
I like. As for what I do, I am a grocery delivery person, a personal delivery assistant, which as boring as it sounds at times, is probably some of the most fun. There's nothing better than getting flirted, than getting hit on by, elderly ladies that you deliver groceries to. That makes your day exciting. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I don't know if we're like a curse on your little podcast.
I don't give a damn if you fucking swear or not.
I was real hoping you wouldn't swear just to throw me off.
Oh, see, I had to. Just, I'm also getting my first cup in of the day, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, mine's like 3 in 1, so.
No, the vocal lesson side of things have had to take a bit of a break. Obviously, a lot of people either they want to put the money aside, they can't afford it, which I understand. I mean, in a lot of regards, I'm luckier than a lot of people because I still get to go to work. As much as I dislike the idea of possibly being a carrier and spreading, coronavirus all over the earth. But people need groceries, people need to eat, and I'm in a position to help do that, so I'll take my list where I can get them.
No, it's good that you're willing to do that in this time, because I know there are some people that would probably try to find a way to not have to deal with that or go through that and just be like, can you just like move me to a different department or, lay me off? Because I really don't want to risk anything right now, because I know that's some people's mindset.
I've had that discussion with a few drivers now. There have been a couple that have told me that they're not comfortable working, which I understand. You don't want to, especially people who live with big families or if they live with immunocompromised people, you don't want to put them in that position. And for that, I can understand.
Definitely.
Again, I'm luckier than than some, I should say, in the sense that all of my family lives in Saskatchewan, and I don't have any roommates, so it's not like I really have to bring anybody. I'm not bringing it home to anybody.
Well, that's good. That's good. So before this pandemic came upon us and kind of shifted everything we were all doing and had planned.
I'll have to refer to it as the Coronapocalypse from now on. Thank you very much.
Coronapocalypse? Okay. Coronapocalypse happening now. Next time on the Coronapocalypse, Rick and Coral look for Michonne.
Next time on the Coronapocalypse, Rick and Coral, they have to try to find their way over.
Coral, you can't go there. Yeah, but Dad, I don't give a damn. Look at him. He's just got the Rona. Yeah, you know it. Got any lime to go with it?
Yeah, he's got the Rona and Home Depot's kit. Anyway.
Oh, but before this all kind of came through everything out the window for a lot of people, what exactly were you like kind of doing and working on and getting going before shit hit the fan, essentially?
Well, before shit hit the proverbial fan, I was trying to build up the Advantage Vocal brand, and again, really lucky. I moved out here, and within a few auditions, trying to be an aspiring singer, at which point, I mean, even I suck. Everybody sucks. At one point, I couldn't carry a tune with a forklift when I started. It was bad.
We've all had those times.
Dedication and stupidity, I was able to bring myself up. And stubbornness, a lot of stubbornness. But I got out here, I started throwing my name out for auditions, for bands, for people. And I made a lot of friends in the music industry, so I was building up Advantage Vocals as a brand that helps local musicians. Most of my students, like yourself, were people who were either just breaking into the music scene or who already kind of had a foothold in the local music scene. I hope they don't mind me giving them a shout out, but I mean, I did give Sterling Patterson, the drummer for Cosm, he had a few vocal lessons. That was mostly for confidence, I think, but he was also a willing guinea pig.
I didn't know that he did any singing, actually, to be honest. Like, I knew you two talked, but I didn't realize that he actually dove into any of that.
He'd always kind of wanted to learn, and when I started breaking into it, he's like, hey, so do you mind kind of helping me this? Because when I'm singing around the house, I'd rather not feel, bad about it. I can't remember how the conversation went. But, he did a couple, and you can sing. Like,
oh, damn.
Anybody can sing. Let's just be honest here. If you have a voice, and if you're not legitimately deaf, you can probably sing.
Yeah.
It just takes listen to know how.
Just a little bit of self-confidence, I find, is the biggest one for any vocalist, really.
Confidence is the first and the biggest obstacle, and it's also the most consistent obstacle, because if you have a bad day singing, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. It could be you live in a humid climate and you were doing a show in an arid climate, like going from DC to Calgary.
Yeah.
That's going to screw your throat up. It's going to screw your voice up if you're not hydrating properly. And I had that happen to a lot of people, and I've heard about it, and it will destroy somebody's confidence for quite some time.
Oh, and that's going from like BC to Calgary, essentially going from humid to arid. What would you consider to be good prep doing the opposite, going from like southern Alberta to the coast?
Obviously, you're probably going to notice that your voice feels a little bit looser in the beginning. After, about a day, if you're going to be spending a lot of time there, you'll notice that your voice feels a little bit looser. You can do a little bit more with it. The best prep would be... Little kitty! Sorry.
Oh.
Paper bag. Plastic bag, sorry. The best prep would be just to really focus on less is more, so that you don't blow your voice out, or you don't get used to asking more from your voice than you normally do.
Okay.
And again, you shouldn't have that problem if you're breathing properly, if you're properly hydrated. You shouldn't really have that problem. Singing will just be a little bit easier when you go into those climates.
I love how we are talking about proper hydration, and two of us as vocalists are drinking one of the worst things for that right now.
I don't have to sing today. And everybody deserves a break.
That's fair. I'm horrible and this is something I have to get over as a crux, as a vocalist, is the do as I say, not as I do. Like, no, you shouldn't smoke and you shouldn't drink coffee. But what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Shut up. I'm getting ready for my next take. It's like,
I'm for the next 3 hours. I need a little bit of help, please.
Yeah. And I know that's one of my main things. I always try to substitute tea, but I go through so much coffee. It just doesn't feel like a session if there's not a good hot cup ready, just waiting there when I need it.
If you really want to look at it, take Dave Grohl, for example. There's thousands upon thousands of documented videos and instances where he's just drinking pots upon pots of coffee, but it's all black coffee.
Yeah.
Like there's no, the filler is the sugar and the creamer.
I switched to honey about 6 years ago, and that's the best thing that I've ever done in my when it comes to that stuff.
Your coffee, I've never tried it.
Yeah, because
Yep.
You should try it. It's weird because it was a stupid innate thing, because I just read a few articles on like sugar triggers the brain similar to how cocaine does. I'm like, I drink a lot of coffee. I'm gonna cut down the amount of sugar I intake just based off like what I know about what it does to the mental synapses. And I switched to honey, and I noticed I don't have that chalky feeling in my mouth as much when I drink. It's a lot smoother. It's similar to drinking tea, except with the cream still kind of messes with that a bit, but it's a lot smoother, I find. Like, it's a different taste at first, obviously, but I can drink more of that and not feel as negatively affected.
Well, that's as long as it's, not negatively affecting you. And it's the same with pretty much anything. There's people who are raging alcoholics and they drink the absolute worst stuff. They're smoking their whole lives and they can go 20, 30 years sick.
Yep.
A lot of that comes down to prep. Most of them can afford to have a professional dietitian and vocal coach with them on their tours to beat their ass when they're doing things stupidly.
All the hair metal vocalists of the 80s.
Yeah, rest in peace. All of them. All of them, rest in peace.
Apparently Vince is getting in shape.
Well, I mean, he kind of has to. If you really yourself that bad for that many years.
Yeah.
It was in 2 years, 3 years now.
Something like that. Oh, God. No, because that came out last year, I think.
Oh, not last year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because The Dirt came out this time last year, I think. And then...
right.
And a lot of people have been criticizing him. I'll give him this. I'm going to say, until he hits the stage for the first time, I'm going to be optimistic in assuming that Vince Neil is going to deliver, because I want to believe that if Motley Crue is going to come back, they're not going to disappoint, because I ultimately do feel they're coming back for the right reasons. They hit a resurgence and a newer fan base, and they want to give that fan base a chance to see him. That, honestly, to me, is what kind of gives a band the pass to being like, we're coming out of retirement for this, because they've been demanded almost.
And let's face it, if Vince Neil goes on stage one night and he doesn't deliver as promised, Tommy Lee is going to, and Mick is going to break his own body doing horrible things to Vince back his hard head.
Yeah.
That's all of it. You can just imagine, they're going to beat the crap out of him.
I think we're going to see an Axl Rose situation where everyone was expecting Axl to fuck up the moment GNR got back together in the AC/DC run, and then he just blew everyone the fuck away. I think we're probably going to see that, because, like you said, that's a humiliating clip. Like, that followed up by his little drunk slur. Did you see that thing from like a month or two ago? The Happy Birthday Buddy. Like, he was like, a fan paid him $250 to wish his brother happy birthday on a video call, and the dude was so drunk and fucked up you could barely understand a word he was saying. It's like,
in the 80s.
No, it's like, dude, don't you have a comeback tour to prepare for? Like, you don't look like you're any better off. But I guess last week they showed some more stuff where he's finally getting in shape. And, hey, maybe this virus will help him in that aspect, because now that he's stuck at home and he can't go anywhere.
It's going to have to effect on him.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's going to be very polarizing. What I'm hoping is that people understand he probably, again, as you age, as your vocal cords, atrophy, especially after, decades of violence abuse.
Oh, definitely.
And technique and just doing what he did to his body. He's not going to have, if his coach, if his teacher, if he has any respect for himself, he's not going to try to sing the same way he did when he was younger. Because, one, he's going to choke on his own vocal cord.
Yep.
And two, it's just not going to sound good. It's going to sound weak and forced, or it's going to sound fake.
He's going to have to James Hetfield it. He's going to have to adjust his vocal structure, attack on everything. And I can agree full-heartedly, especially with the amount of abuse he's put himself through as a vocalist. Like, there's some vocalists where you could, again, Axl Rose. Like, despite all the shit, he was one of the cleaner guys in GNR, and his attitude is what got the better of him, not his drug abuse. So he can still kind of belt and project that voice years later. But Vince, I'm not as sure.
No, you're right in the sense that that's one of the very few things that Axl Rose kind of had going for him. He had that voice, he had that range. And sometimes through his shows, you could hear how his voice would strain a bit.
Yeah.
And that could be from wear and tear. It could be from, you get a little bit excited, you start using improper techniques, stuff like that.
Over projecting.
Oh, God. You have an amplification system. Let it do more of the work.
I have to stop wearing ear protection for shows when I perform now until I get in-ears, because I overproject like a motherfucker with them in, because I just can't feel and hear everything properly, and it gets annoying, and just get to a high part, completely fuck it up. I'm like, that shouldn't have been that hard.
That's the one show that I did out here, which, I mean, there was a lot of things that were wrong with the organization. The show itself would have been absolutely, it was a 30-minute set. We were an opening act. And if certain things had been done differently, then it's been amazing. And one of the first things, even with highs, lows, screams, everything kind of all jumbled together. If you don't have in-ears, if you have one earplug in, save one of your ears. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And it's for pitching as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to adjust to, just for the sake of being able to have that on-stage feel, because you lose a lot of your head voice or your body voice, and just being able to gauge what you're actually pushing out. So
and that's why you feel where your voice is, as opposed to just listening to it.
Yeah.
So much when you're on stage.
Especially because when I do covers and shit, like I'm standing up, like, and I'd move a little bit, but I'm not nearly as chaotic as I am the moment, you know, an actual stage happens. The moment that stage happens, it's a different ball game completely.
I gave you a piece of advice live on the internet for all to see.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any of your live shows, so I don't know if you do this. But you'll notice that especially young local bands that are having trouble getting traction, their singers always trying to sing or scream while they're walking around the stage.
No.
And they want to build that height, right?
Yeah.
Notice that as they're trying to sing, they're very, very, when they're, especially through harder segments, if there's a lot of highs, if there's a lot of screams or a lot of air usage, it's very jumpy when it's not supposed to be. So find a spot on stage, plant your feet, belt. And then as you have an easier section, or if there's an instrumental break, go find another side of the stage, find another section of the crowd to go interact with, plan, give it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've adapted to. In the past, I've been like notorious for like, I do a lot of hops and a lot of jumps and just like trots across the stage, but now it's gotten more to like a plant, and then I do a lot more like hand movement and just like up and down in a planted position to kind of move with things from there. But still, like, there's those moments where you don't, just a breakdown hits and you're like, I want to. Yeah, exactly. You're just like, I need to do something right now. Like, this is just hitting too hard for me just to sit here and be like, yeah.
When you go to rehearsals, when you do band rehearsals and stuff, when you get to the breakdown, always practice what you're going to do on stage. Like, always imagine there's 1,000 people in that tiny little room. Always imagine it's a stage and react exactly how you would on stage. Because if you can get in that mind space, you'll start learning, okay, I can do this, but I can take a breath here, or I can do it this way, and I'm going to I'll save some energy for later when, you know, I'm usually dying.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm a huge supporter of, like, practice how you play. Don't choreograph your shit to a degree, but know where your impact moments are. Know what it is you can do, when you can do it. Actually, in my space now, since we've added Reagan as our backup guitarist for anything that we hope still happens, we got Loud as Hell with Cosm, so we can't wait to see Sterling and the homies August long weekend. If you're in Alberta, go down. Legion is our headliner, and Cosm's playing. Deadlights, my band's playing. It's going to be a good time. Lots of wicked bands, but I actually have taped sections in my jam space for everyone, being like, this is the available space you have to you right now. Utilize it.
Okay.
Because that way, like, prevents, like, everyone who wants to move still can, but it's like, this is your kind of, like, area. Learn how to control your space here, and then when you get onto a stage, whether it's more or less, you'll be able to know how to conduct your space and know what to do with it.
Gonna get hit with a headstone.
Oh, God. I in my old band, when I was in Nuclear Oath, the amount of times I hit Pete or Zach with my fucking headstock, because I always moved, and I never didn't do it at, like, it was always at the same spots. Like, I was a very proponent of, like, when this spot hits, I'm doing this. When this spot hits, I'm doing this. Y'all better stay at least 6 feet the fuck away from me. I'll try to spin the headstock up if I can, but know that and stay true. I got to spin in the second chorus. Like, I did in the video. Now it has to happen every show. Like, that's just how it is.
Feet away from me before it was cool.
Yeah. And the amount of times, like, Pete will come up randomly behind me and I'll go down and he'll get, it's like, sorry, man, shouldn't have been there. That was the wrong...
to be fair, I warned you what was going to happen.
Yeah. I take a very Dillinger escape plan approach. You need life insurance to play in the band. Why? We expect you to maybe get hurt.
We expect blood.
Yeah. Your own. It'll be your own. You'll probably cause it to yourself, but shit flying everywhere. I like that organized chaos, I guess is the best way to say it.
It's only organized if everybody knows what's going on, Nate.
We have peripheral vision. That's why you watch it after. You know, You film it, you watch it, be like, oh, that's why I got clipped by the headstock. That's what you do there. I'm not going to be there next time. That's not where I'm going during that song. We aren't friends during that song. I'm going over here.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that to happen. Just someone in a band that's extremely chaotic on a Dillinger level that has maybe the bassist who's reserved and just stands behind the drummer and jams with him for the entire show, being like, is it safe back here? And then every once in a while the drummer just throws a stick in his face. Like, no, bitch, it ain't safe anywhere.
Who said you could be an asshole?
Yeah.
Oh,
the only way, next thing you know, the bassist tapes a stick to his headstock and be like, give me a cymbal, I'll accent shit. Just don't hurt me.
Oh, what is it? The Berber King?
Berber King. Hey, everyone. I hope you are enjoying the interview with Zach so far. It is time for the first artist of the episode, and it is Victoria K. And the track is going to be off the Essentia album out on April 24th. That may or may not have already come out, and if it has, go check it out on every streaming platform. If it hasn't, get ready for it and get ready to check it out. It's for fans of Camelot, Nightwish, Ellie Vitae, Lacuna Coil, and Within Temptation. And there's actually a member of Ellie Vitae who special guested on the album, Michelina, or I messed up the name and I'm gonna mess it up even more. So the initials are MM, and they're from Ellie Vitae. Victoria was actually just signed to Rock Shots Records and is releasing her debut album with them. So with all that in mind, this is Forsaken off Victoria K's Essentia album. There is an official music video out that you can go and check out. And this is actually featuring Sherry Vengeance. So without further ado, enjoy. But that's right. Are you still in that band that you were jamming with?
No, that particular one, like I said, there was a lot of things, and I'm a huge advocate for organization and prep, because it doesn't matter if it's your first show or your 5,000th show. There are certain, especially when there's other bands, and when you're, more than anything, when you are an opening band and it is your first show, do not bring a rackless double kick. Do not, that you can't set up in 10 minutes. Start. But communication breakdown, just nobody talking to anybody. Nobody was ready the day of.
I think
I showed up and the guitarist was building his pedal board. Didn't tell anybody that the showtime had been moved forward by half an hour. Didn't make any preparations to get everything done. Drummer didn't show up until probably at the band house where everything was. There was no rehearsal the day of. We were pumped and stoned. The bass player had a 20-minute setup and teardown because of how he had his rig set up.
Okay, damn. Oh, bands, and this is I think touches on something that's really good for just any new band, because this is generally something that new bands have to figure out, and they usually figure it out the hard way. Before you play your first show, if you have time to prep, like say it's been a month, every day you guys get together to practice in that month, set up and tear down your shit and time yourself. Know that you have 15 minutes to set up and 15 minutes max to tear down. The ideal is 10. The ideal for every band is 10, but 15 is kind of the threshold that's given. And also time your sets. Know that every minute you are over takes away from every act after you. If you're the headliner, okay, no one will give a shit because the bar will probably be happy that you're keeping people there just a hair longer. But if you're in any other slot, you take away from those other bands that are giving you a chance putting them on you on their bill. So practice your setups, practice your teardowns, time your sets, and then the week of, if you've never played a show, get together 2 or 3 times just to practice setup, tear down, load in, and load out. Like, the quicker you get that down, the easier you'll be to work with and the more opportunities you'll get from promoters, because that's the first sign of a professional band. A band that can conduct themselves properly, get their shit on and off stage in an efficient manner without being a hindrance to everyone around them, you will stand out amongst a lot of other bands.
Dude, so here's one thing. I can't remember if I told you this or not. So we got there at, the show was supposed to start at 9:30. Didn't find out till 7 o'clock the night of. I didn't anyways, that it was starting at 9. Set up as 8. We get there at 8. And I'm like, hey, first band, whatever, where do we set up? So, keep in mind, I'm the vocalist. I don't play an instrument. I did more moving in setup and more moving in teardown than the drummer and the guitarist combined. And I had to wrangle them the whole time. So I was the only one sweating.
See, and that goes against every trope that people have the vocalist. Most people have the vocalist trope of, oh, it's impossible to get him to carry anything aside from his microphone and maybe a cable because, oh, I just have to bring my own gear, right? Oh, wait, mic's provided? Oh, I don't got to bring anything. Fuck you guys. But,
oh my God, yeah.
Like,
no, I absolutely loathe not doing, like, I hate, if something's happening, it's like, I know I can help. Or, especially in a situation like that, it's like, okay, we need to move. So, originally we had a 30-minute set time. We got set up at, I want to say, 9:10.
Yeah.
We were finished setting up. At this point, I'm livid. I've only ever been this mad in my life once. Drummer goes out for a smoke. I've never been that mad. So, yeah. And then, you know, we don't have time for a sound check, because if we do a sound check, then we do sound check, and then we tear down.
Yeah, basically your sound check is going to be your set at that point.
And it was. And everybody had their instruments cranked, so nobody could hear the vocals, and the sound guy, which I don't want to throw any trash at him because the whole night was a complete shit show on our end, but he had me cranked to about 30. So I was, 12 feet away from the microphone, and I was still getting feedback.
Everyone was loud, and therefore everything was fighting. Like, it's the age-old Anna of like, oh, look, the guitarist won't turn his amp down. Fuck.
Oh, you turn it?
Yeah. And that sucks. That sucks. But I think there's a lot of things people can learn from that. And I think there's one thing a lot of bands, I think, they get wrong. The audience isn't there to see you. They're there to have a good time. Especially if you're one of the opening two bands. Like, chances are, no one knows who you are. This show, or whatever show you're on, isn't for you. It's for them. Therefore, put yourself as a member of a band in that audience's shoes. What's going to make the show a lot more enjoyable for you? Waiting for 45 fucking minutes outside, having a smoke, waiting for the next fucking band, hearing sound check, and then being like, oh, did they start? Nope. How about now? Or being able to quickly go from band to band in succession, enjoy everything with like just enough time to go take a piss and a smoke, come back and be like, oh, fuck, they started.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. What is more enjoyable for you? Generally, that's what's more enjoyable for most people. And if that's the case, do what you can to make that what your audience gets from you. Because if you don't deliver that, you're already failing at your job.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I told him, I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't. I need a break from you guys for about a week. Oh, look, you're taking a bong hit during your fucking professionalism at its best.
I'm on medication.
Shitty. But I told them, I was like, I need a break from you guys. I'm not going to talk to you for a week. And then after a week, they came back with, yeah, so we were pretty upset that you didn't really give us time for a sound check. And I went, I'm not having this conversation. I need a break from you guys again.
Oh.
So the end of it was they wanted to retool their sound, and they're going to go with a different vocalist. Keep in mind, these guys booked a show without having all of their songs done, without having an actual singer, because the only reason I was there is because they hired me as a vocal coach for the guy that decided to be their singer.
That's right. I remember that.
So they didn't have their songs done, they didn't have a singer, and they didn't have anything prepared. And they had zero professionalism, and they booked a show a month away. I had a month to prepare with that.
See,
done with that. I don't even want to talk about it.
No, we'll get past it. That's band horror stories. And there are ways to go about prepping, and there are ways not to. That's one way. And the way I had to go about it is very similar, except, I waited till I had an EP worth of material down and tight and had some members that knew shit, fish shit off for a few months. And then once opportunities came to us, then we went, how far away is that? That's doable. You, whoever else we need to reach out to, which one of you is going to stick and actually work within this group and get her done, and we have our lineup figured out. And we still have months to go, and well, it sucks that shows are getting canceled, but on the other end, maybe it's a blessing in disguise for some bands that can use this time to maybe get some shit figured out.
But it's kind of like practicing. It's kind of like I'll liken it to any sort of exercise or practice or study. As long as you're doing it properly, it's a blessing in disguise. If you know what you need to work on, if you know how you need to work on it, and if you don't, find somebody who does, because especially with, and I find this a lot with metal musicians, some of them are just completely garbage. And musicians in general, some of them are elitist, some of them view it more as a competition, which I'm against.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to fix a problem you're having within your band, talk to somebody who's got an established, even if they're local. Just say, hey, I've seen you guys in a few shows. I'm having this issue with my band. Is there any advice you can give me? And sometimes people either haven't had that issue and they can't help. Sometimes they won't. But more often than not, I've found, especially in musician communities, they will.
Oh, definitely. And I find a lot of people take the competition thing way too far. I look at music a lot like I do team sports, where the competition, that only shows up the day of. When you show up, your goal should be to be the one that stands out amongst all your peers. Your goal should be to, if someone fucking delivers, your goal should be making the next goal going, fuck, I have to follow that.
Yeah,
That's how you should be when you're at the show performing. not at the show talking to people. It's still like there's no competition when you're off the stage. It's strictly, it's like on the court. On the court, you're professional in what you have to do if you're a player. Off the court, you're professional in how you interact with everyone, and there's no hard feelings about anything. In basketball, someone gives you like a ribbed elbow. After the game, I might go and be like, hey man, that kind of fucking hurt. But I'm not going to be like pissed off about it the entire time. Like we're going to rib each other about it the entire time and move past it. But the team sport athletic is so much more than the game. It's the 5 days of practice, the 3 weeks before the games, like really honing in on what's our team dynamic. How do we jive? How's our offense? How's our defense? How do we move? How do we communicate on and off the court with as little information as possibly needed to not give our stuff away? And a lot of that can be used in bands, especially in metal, with how extreme and how fast and how relentless a lot of people like to go with the like type of metal that we see happening a lot. You have to be able to communicate with each other. You have to know when the tempo changes are coming, when the solo has to come, when the vocal harmonies are coming. Like being able to work within that energy and also being able to control the audience. Because that's what you, especially as a frontman, you have to be able to control the audience. That frontman might not be the vocalist, though. That could be the guitarist or the bass player. It's whoever has the ability to wrap the audience around their finger and dictate their movement, their ebb and flow, and their emotion and jive off them. If you don't practice that, you're not going to figure it out, though.
Yeah. And that's... and it's one of the things that, especially for... I'm not going to name any names, but there's one group that I work with quite often, and with their vocalists anyways. And that's the one thing that I always heavily advocate is, if you're going to move into a frontman position, even if you're a vocalist, if you're frontman, whatever it is, you don't want to be timid about it. You have to embrace your inner high, if you will.
Yeah.
You're the Frankenstein version of yourself. The monster, you have to have that.
Create your WWE persona, that amplification of yourself times 100.
Exactly. And it's the exact same thing for, regardless of genre. If you are, a naturally aggressive person and you're doing, soft pop for some reason because that's what calms you down, then you have to dive into that soft pop version 100 times what you normally would. Definitely.
It's like Kurt Cobain. I'll do this because I actually decided to visit one of the first songs I ever learned and do a full cover of it. But he was very shy, kind of well-spoken, like interviews, even on stage when they weren't playing. He was kind of like laid back and reserved and didn't do a whole lot. But the moment the song started, a fuse went off and his destructive nature came out on stage, and it came off as extremely charismatic. And that was his ability of being that frontman. He exposed his overample shyness, and actually to a point where they made fun of it. There's that one show where they wheeled him out on the fucking wheelchair, and Dave's like, he's gonna be okay, man. Like, they played into that and then also allowed the other aspect to really dynamic. There are, just to feed into like what you said, there are multiple different ways to do that personification on stage. And I think what it comes down to is finding a way to do it in a way that you enjoy. Because I guess in the case of Cobain, he sure as fuck didn't enjoy it.
No, and it's like, I always like to bring back to the Lamb of God, Randy Blythe. If you've ever seen any of his earlier interviews, he got into it as a joke.
Yeah.
He's a very well-spoken, intelligent human being. Holy shit. Like, the dude... And you see it a lot more aggressive musicians. Like, other than the meme band.
Dude, let's go back to Dee Snider and the Filthy 15 when the PMRC tried to take him and everyone to court, and he just comes out in his his dirty attire, pulls out his piece of paper folded 50 times, and then just starts using some vernacular that half of them are just like, how does he know what that word means? Do I even know what that word means?
Watching lawyers around go, do you know what he's talking about? And the judge is going...
Tipper Gore's sitting there like...
Yeah, exactly. You have these... And that's what I love about Randy Blythe. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Lamb of God. I love their instrumental stuff. I've never been a huge fan of... Well, I'm not anymore a huge fan of, like, the Cookie Monster vocals.
Yeah.
Mostly just as my own... That's how I started singing. I didn't start with regular singing. I was like Cookie Monster, and then, it's much more challenging to do regular singing. and I fell in love with the challenge of it and how I can modify it. So I'm basically a singing impressionist, Frankenstein thing. I don't
That's
know.
my role. That's me.
Yeah.
I want some cookie.
That was inhale screaming. That's very bad.
Don't
for you.
inhale.
If you
That's bad.
do it wrong, you will destroy the absolute hell out of your voice. If you do it right, it can teach you how to fry scream, but that's few and far between.
Yeah. Yes.
It teach you the chord control for fry screaming because they will both just destroy you if you do it wrong.
Oh, they
anyway, tangent aside.
Yeah, tangent aside. Well, I hope you are all enjoying the episode so far and the interview with Zach. The next band we are going to quickly show you guys is Omniarch, and this track is off their self-titled album, which is out on May 8th. Go find it on every streaming platform you can when it comes out. It is a self-release, and it is for fans of Revocation, The Black Dahlia Murder, The Absence, Ares, and Allegion. So, some pretty cool bands that they're saying that they're kind of sounding like. Omniarch was formed from the ashes of two former bands, Netherward and This Is War. Morgan Lambert, guitar, Mason Wilson, guitar, John Hoffman, bass, Mackenzie LaHaye, vocals, and Henry Gersbricht, drums, who have played gigs together in separate bands, have always entertained the idea of joining forces, and eventually conditions allowed for the amalgamation of the two bands into a new and wholly different alloy of metal and formed the beginning of Omniarch. So this sounds like it could be something that's really cool. Each Omniarch song starts with a collaboration between Wilson and Lambert to determine the riffs, which are then brought to rhythm section where they morph into a cohesive idea that is splattered with aggressive technical death metal vocals and themes surrounding history, fantasy, science fiction, and mythology. They are just getting started. As of spring 2020, they have a fresh self-titled release out on May 8th with plenty more music coming down the pipe. And once things kind of get back to normal, keep an eye out for them to be playing live as well. Go find them on all their social media sites. And here is the single off the album called Cairn. Definitely said that wrong. Enjoy.
From within the light of a cosmic starburst, behold the fabric of time and space, cross the veins of the execution. Eternal Lord everlasting, in the void of knowing, in this place he is all that he can be. For the celestial king, purify the
metal seems to have a high percentage of well-articulated individuals and well-educated individuals as well.
And I think they kind of have to be. Like, you have to be a little bit above the general intelligence level.
Well, it's like now you're making it sound like Tool and Rick and Morty fandoms. You have to be at a certain IQ level to be able to understand us, guys.
I say intelligence quotient. That's why I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But it's because people don't really, at least, especially in the beginning, people didn't take the genre seriously. They didn't take the musicians seriously. And like looking at gent music as just an example, like the guitars are very, from an outside standpoint, it's a lot of, it's just two notes. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And from an inside perspective, you get to see how it's a lot more percussive. You have to have that timing very, very tight.
It's very tribal.
It is, and it's the accents. Like it's heavily focused on the accents between the percussive hits, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's the same thing with like the beginning of heavy metal music with Slayer and Alice Cooper and all those shock rockers. You know, you have to have a level of intelligence, otherwise people aren't going to take you seriously.
Yeah. And metal is a genre that's very stapled in either controversy or criticism. And to get to either of those, you have to have a good understanding of what it is you're talking about. So, and that's one thing I have a lot of respect for, especially metal now, post the 80s, you know, just like demons and monsters and, you know, D&D's fun. I enjoy it, but I don't need it in everything. But there are some power metal bands I really dig. But just the fact that now you get into these bands that are either like Rage Against the Machine, even in the early 90s, like a band that's so socially, politically aware of their environment, similar to NWA being so aware of their environment back during the blow up of gangster rap. It's like the fact that there's more of that type of artist now. I really like that because it allows for, I think, a better conversation, not just about the subjects that everyone talks about in their songs, but just about anything, because we're allowing more understanding through conversation.
And you can also look at it, because again, it's very hard to have certain conversations about certain topics because people get heated and it goes from conversation to debate to argument to yelling to somebody walks away.
Yeah.
Look, Rage Against the Machine that has this very, very one point of view. Like it's very, very obviously they have one point of view and that is their entire identity as a band. And you have, you know, other bands that are the exact opposite. And I've never done it, but I'm almost certain that you could probably trace conversations between bands just based on, like, it's a musical argument or debate. You've got Rage Against that has their, I would say, leftist, like liberal.
Oh, extremely. What's funny about them is they are noticeably extremely leftist, especially with how they, like Tom Morello and Zach talk nowadays, and yet they have a very conservative fan base.
Yes.
It's like, it's funny, but it's also, I think, it speaks that I think there's a lot of people that would reflect as that ideology that actually see a lot of truth to what's being said about the other. They just don't know how to properly articulate it outside of having that expression through Rage Against the Machine.
And it's just like anything else. You know, you're going to have those really highly, I don't want to call it toxic, but trigger heavy, for lack of a better term, those trigger heavy bands.
Infant Annihilator.
Dying Fetus. Or Cannibal Corpse when they came out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the one, it's like, it's taking the old style of metal, being like, how can we make people really go, ah, before they even turn on the album?
Yeah, exactly. And which I get to an extent, but one thing, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean anything negative towards local bands, but I've noticed a trend, especially with the more heavy style of music. Everyone kind of, it's very trendy, I've noticed. Like, you'll see one band, all of a sudden everybody has, you know, the same graphic for their logo. Everybody has, you know, half of their album is Latin titles, old Latin titles. Their band names are old Latin.
Oh, so you're noticing black metal coming back too?
Oh my God! But it's, and then you go to their shows or you listen to their album, and it's very formulaic, which I both I like because it shows that people are dedicated to perfecting what they do, but at the same time, it doesn't really help them
grow.
In my view, it doesn't help. I don't see a whole lot of growth between albums. I don't see a whole lot of experimentation, and I don't see a whole lot of diversity in the metal. Like, you go to a metal show, a local metal show, local heavy metal show, it's 5 bands essentially playing an inversion or a variation of the same song.
Yeah.
Others me.
I definitely hear you there, and I think it comes down to a double-edged sword, because I am a heavy proponent of, like, play what you love, because if you're in music, you should definitely do it, but there's far too many, I don't want to say imitators, but there's too many people taking from the same influence pool, and not enough people looking to look for things outside of their main influence pool to create something new.
In the same pool, that's all I'm going to say. There's too many people drowning in the same pool.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like to bring up Lamb of God. It's like there's too many bands nowadays and I love Lamb of God for their sound. Like, they have a great sound. They're not a band I listen to a lot, but when they come on, you know it's Lamb of God. The moment the first 3 seconds go, you know what you're listening to. But there's too many bands that are just trying to take the Lamb of God, Periphery, Born of Osiris, Whitechapel. Like, there too many bands are trying to recreate what they've already done. But look at what these bands are doing. The same bands we very much just described. Maybe not so much Lamb of God, because they're kind of doing the same thing. But Periphery has changed up their shit every fucking album. God, who was the other one I brought up there? Whitechapel, their last record, is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it doesn't sound like Whitechapel. Like, to me, it's the perfect end to Whitechapel. If they never release another record, they could close on that and they could all have careers doing other shit and look back on that fondly.
Well, look, also, I cannot believe that you just glossed over my drowning pool.
Oh, dude, sorry.
I even threw it bodies because you weren't getting it.
I'm sorry. To the drowning pool as well. Yes, you're right. There are a lot of new metal bands starting to come out.
Like, there's too many people drowning in the same pool.
No, God, the bodies aren't hitting the floor, man.
Apparently not. I'm a little disappointed.
I'm sorry.
You're
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm not on my pun game right now.
No. But I was gonna say, look at son of a bitch. All That Remains, from their Fall of Ideals and like their first album.
Tattered. Oh man, their old stuff. Their old stuff is really heavy before Fall of Ideals. Like, it's ridiculous. Deepest Grey.
Deepest Grey. 6 was amazing.
Dude, all the Fall of Ideals. That entire record's fucking awesome. The stuff before it was a lot grimier and a lot more death metal. Like off Tattered and something.
It's Tattered on My Sleeve, I think. No.
Nope, yeah. I think you're right.
I can't remember the name of the album, though.
It's an orange album. Like the.
Oh, that's Overcome.
No, before that. They had one before that that's got a skull and it's kind of exploding.
Oh, okay. It's been so long since I've listened to their original, like their first stuff.
Shadows Fall. Shadows Fall.
After Phil left Shadows Fall. But he was doing guitar and backup vocals, wasn't he?
No, he was main vocals for Shadows Fall.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
okay.
He was, and the saddest, and this is one thing I will always respect about Phil. He knew he was just the stand-in until they could get Brian.
Yeah.
Like, he knew that he was the guy they were eyeing, he's the guy they really wanted, and so the moment he became available, he's like, if you guys want him, I will take my leave. No hard feelings. I know he's the guy you guys need, the guy you guys want. And Shadows Fall, like, god damn, the moment they got Brian Ferrer on vocals, it was like, boom.
Yeah. But looking from, 6 and Tattered on My Sleeve, all those other things, so what they're doing now, you can actually see, and In Flames is exactly the same, going from Reroute to Remain and all their older stuff to, like, what the hell is the name of their newest album? I can't remember.
Oh, fuck.
It's got I the Mask? No,
I the Master, you might be right.
I think that's the name of the album, but I the Mask, This Is Our House, or whatever the name of the song is. Like,
actually, I was really impressed with that song, actually.
And the last few albums, I've noticed, Andrews has gotten a little bit more comfortable with bouncing between screaming and singing.
Yeah.
And there was, I think it was last year or the year, 12 to 18 months ago, I saw an interview where somebody asked him, well, why are you taking vocal lessons now? He goes, I'm fucking 40 and I've never done it. It's probably a good time to figure out if I've hurt myself.
Yeah. That's really smart. Another band that's been doing really well with just expanding their sound from the Swedes, Soilwork. Like,
I haven't heard anything they've done this.
Dude.
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So they are, in my personal opinion, one of the most, I guess, forward-thinking Swedish melodic death metal bands. Because if you listen to their stuff from the late 90s or the late 90s, really tech deathy. Like, they would give old In Flames a fucking run for their money. And then they got more into, like, the kind of groovy kind of stuff in later. Like, my personal two favorite albums are Stabbing the Drama and Figure Number 5. And those are, like, the 2003, 2005 releases. And the main single for Figure Number 5, actually, they did a dual music video with In Flames, where for In Flames' video, Soilwork would be the antagonist coming in and fucking shit up, and vice versa. For the Soilwork video, In Flames would be the antagonist coming in. But it's basically the exact same fucking video. Just, yeah. And then from there, they've now turned into like this progressive rock band. Like, they're still releasing albums. In 2013, they released a dual disc, like like prog album, like a dual disc prog album. They're just like, fuck it, we're doing what we want to do. We're not going to stick in our box. For better or worse, we're going to keep doing our thing. We might go back and revisit some older ideas as we go, but we're not feeling dictated to one certain path.
And you'll see it a lot with well, even Slipknot is another perfect example of how far, as a band, I mean, granted, with all the changes and everything, they were all the lineup changes and unfortunate passing of Paul Gray, they were kind of forced to make some adjustments to their sound to incorporate the new guys. But even going from Diluted and all the other stuff from Volume 3 in their self-titled album, you know, surfacing, holy fuck.
Oh, dude, even if you look at just vocal attack on every album, you can tell Corey went in with a mindset of changing his vocal style every time because he was adjusting based off what they were doing. Oh, I'm going to be more guttural and visceral. Oh, now I need to really kind of more bellow and kind of get more of that hollow tone out because that's more so what's working in this area because that guttural shit on Iowa wrecked me. So, and it's cool that you can see that. That's one thing I really liked about Slipknot's most recent record. It actually felt like the first Slipknot record in a while that cohesively felt like it belonged together. Like, you could just put it on and it felt like, oh, it's a horror movie soundtrack. This is what Slipknot's always kind of wanted to make.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, with Stone Sour and just Corey Taylor doing Corey Taylor stuff. And again, you can see the growth from what he did to where he is now. Like, there's been so much improvement. And again, another guy who took vocal lessons. I mean, granted, he went to go see Melissa Cross.
Yeah.
A guy who, by any general audience member standard, probably wouldn't have thought, hey, this guy doesn't need vocal lessons, listen to him. But somebody who had the foresight to go, all right, well, if I'm going to be doing this for 20 years, you know, it makes sense to take care of your instruments, right?
Serge Tankian of System of a Down. Like, that's a voice you can listen through, like, all of the releases that he's been a part of from the start of his career to now and be like, holy fuck. There is something to be taken away from, like, natural talent that then focuses it and gets the help it needs to figure it out.
And that I'm pretty sure Serge was either classically or operatically trained.
He was. And then I believe it was after... I don't know if it was leading up to Toxicity or if it was after Toxicity, but he was told to go and get some formal training in rock vocals so that he could properly figure out how to do his thing, because the label, I think, that signed him at the time was listening to everything they were doing. Like, dude, you're good, but you're going to fucking lose it real quick in the way that you're going about it. Because he was doing a lot of, especially the older stuff, he was doing a lot of that, like, singing into screaming, like, very quick, like every other word shifting from pitch to pitch, and his screams were just, man, some of those old ones are just, they sound aggressive, but when you, like, really listen, you can hear the vibrations in the folds, and you're like, oh, fuck, something's not right.
Yeah, like, you're sitting there going, I don't want to know what he looked like after that tape.
Yeah, you're like, that sounds fucking intense. I don't want to see what he looks like. It's like, that's one thing I love about Corpse Grinder. Like, I'm not a fan of his vocal style, but he is the perfect personification of what really good low, like, control can dictate after a while. Because, damn, those gutturals, like, They're iconic for a reason.
They've only gotten stronger.
And so, as his neck grew.
Yeah, and that's just it. The muscles in his neck, because again, it's muscle control, right?
Yeah.
So his neck was already unnaturally large. This dude looks like a thumb. I have nothing but respect for this dude, but he's one of those guys that you look at him and you can just picture the thumb from Spy Kids.
I was actually just thinking that. Just put a little bit of hair on him. Oh no, dude, did you ever play Brutal Legend?
Yeah.
Dude, the headbangers.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But, and again, it's just, he's got all that extra space, and with that extra space comes a depth to your voice that just is unique to him. Same thing with Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
He's got, mid-range voice. He doesn't have a low voice, but the space that he has allows him to get some real good body on his voice. And it's one of those things that's unique to him, and he uses this shit out of it. And respect for that.
Oh, definitely. Well, this interview is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for me to do with Zach, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. It is time for the third band of the episode, and this is Black Pestilence with a track off the album Hail the Flesh, which is out on May 1st. So go get that in you when it's out. Get ready for it. It's for fans of Toxic Holocaust, Impaled Nazarene, Municipal Waste, Midnight, Cradle of Filth. So a little black metal-y, a little thrashy, it's gonna be an interesting ride we're gonna be on together here. So a little bit of history here. In the winter of 2008, Black Pestilence was formed in Calgary as bassist, vocalist Valix initially. Oh, my bad. Let me rephrase that because it was written a little awkwardly here. So Black Pestilence was formed by bassist vocalist Valix in Calgary, Alberta in the winter of 2008. Initially, Black Pestilence started as a one-man studio project, but years afterward it evolved into a three-piece band. And over the course of 12 years, Black Pestilence has been known for their unique sound by combining black metal, punk, rock, and noise. So you may have already heard this band, in which case, get ready for this new record. The band has released 5 full-length albums, filmed 4 music videos, and performed all over Canada and Europe. They've also shared the stage with a number of notable bands, including Black Dahlia Murder, Toxic Holocaust, Abzu, Skeleton Witch, and Wednesday 13. So, Hail the Flesh is their 6th studio record, and it consists of 9 infectious and chaotic anthems that Black Pestilence has become known for. Over the last year and a half of writing and recording, the album has become the most polished and mature sound for the band. The infectious formula that which Black Pestilence has become known for is still apparent throughout the album, and they cannot wait to share this milestone with the world. So we are going to show you the official single. There's a music video for it on YouTube. Go check it out. This is Spurn All Gods by Black Pestilence off their upcoming record, Hail the Flesh, out May 1st. Get it in you.
sign, ambiguous anyway. But the cross, I know it doesn't make you satanic. Theistic life, as you know, smell of God's birth, what do you sound?
So, with everything that's been going on, we kind of talked a little bit about like what you're doing, but what have you been thinking about kind of figuring out throughout this virus? Like, how has it made you think about how you need to either adjust or change or kind of redirect some things?
Oh, God. So, I've been putting it off mostly because I took up teaching myself, like 6 months ago, I grabbed myself a little Casio keyboard, started learning that, and I like to think that I've put a lot more effort into that than singing or teaching. I got it so that it would help improve my ability to teach, because I didn't have an instrument. So I was doing a lot of, and you were privy to this. I taught people how to sing based on what they could feel where.
Yeah.
And to allow for instantaneous judgment if you're in the middle of a song. Like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I know where I need to be.
Yeah.
Instead of having to look for it and then feel it. But obviously with that, there comes some pitching. So I got the piano to kind of help streamline some of the exercises and workouts, but one thing I've been putting off is online lessons. Mostly because this is probably the best quality Skype call I think you and I have ever had.
Yeah.
And I just realized that, and I don't know what's changed, but it gives me hope that the last time that you and I had a Skype call was for a lesson.
Yeah. And
the quality was garbage. And there was a lot of breaking up and crackling, and I still cringe thinking about it. And I'm so glad that you were able to take something away from it, because I felt like crap for about a week afterwards.
Oh, dude, no, it was a good one. It helped a lot.
But definitely delving into more doing online stuff and just trying to figure out how to get the marketing for that. But I want to. My original goal was always to build up enough of a brand that I could afford to do pro bono lessons for local musicians. You know, singers who they're in a band and they just aren't quite there yet.
You can help them out.
Exactly. Like, just do free lessons, maybe 1 or 2 a week, so that, you know, people can have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that have really unique voices and really unique sound that you don't know what to do, or really unique ideas. And I want to help people kind of cultivate that without them feeling like they have to spend a bunch of money to do it. That's the altruist in me, I guess. And I'm entirely self-taught with research and, you know, trial and error, and again, stupid and stubborn. But I had the benefit of never blowing my voice out, so I learned a lot of lessons that way. Almost the hard way.
Almost. Very close.
Oh, dude, I'm just glad that I had the wherewithal to be like, you know what? Kind of feels a little raw. Maybe I'll stop for a week and let it heal. But yeah, definitely trying to get all I've got right now on me is a laptop. So I'm trying to get a line on the PC part and a little bit better equipment so that I can, you know, do it properly. But that's pretty much where I am there. That being said, by the time I get home from work at the end of the day, I'm usually dead inside, so...
That's always the hard part. It's always the hard part.
Grind, but it's got to be done. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm trying to readjust everything, and is figuring out how to market that, especially in... Like, right now, it's an economic climate where a lot of people aren't working, and a lot of people still want to learn how to sing. And it's like, okay, do I do the freebie stuff and not worry about it and completely cut it out and, you know, get paid in exposure later? Or, on the other hand, do I do, like, credit, where, okay, you do this lesson, but I have to take it on faith that you'll revert me afterwards and things like that. And I just don't... I've never been good with asking for money, even if I'm, like, offering a service.
Yeah.
It's just something that bothers me for some reason.
I always, not so much feel sleazy, but I just, like, I don't like spending money. So the last thing I like being is like, hey, man, so that thing you got to pay me for.
Yeah.
So it's just, I get that.
And especially now, it's like, hey, so I'm going to be giving out vocal lessons, but there's a caveat, you kind of got to pay me for them when you can.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to, you know, do I want to hunt somebody? Do I want to feel like a debt collector? Fuck no. Everybody hates, debt collectors hate being debt collectors. They just...
It's just their job.
Yeah, exactly. And most of them are good people, but they have a job to do, and... yeah, I haven't figured that part of it yet, and I'd love to just have it practically out, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think that's all of my lunch.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's this is an interesting time. It's definitely a good time for reflection and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and just kind of adjusting things as they go. I know I've gotten a stupid amount of covers done. I did a bunch of vocal covers, and now I think I put 6 on my plate for full covers, and a bunch of those are collabs, but still I'm doing a majority of the work. So it's like, I started doing all this stuff. Good thing I have all the time to get it done, and think of all the time it'll free up in the future once it's done. But now it's got to get done.
Well, you say that it'll free up time in the future, but what's going to happen is you'll end up getting into a routine, and you'll just be used to having all of this time set up.
That's true. Well, I'm thinking, like, if the amount of content I have right now that's done, I'm good for my covers up till mid-June. If I get these full covers done, I'm good till August, late August, maybe get another few more to round that up to September. And August could be busy. If this stuff all winds down, like, and we actually get back to some hair of normalcy, like August and summer could be a busy time, and I'd much rather spend that time going and doing the other things than sitting here making content to put on the channel. So if I can use this time to free up time when I won't really have it or will really want it, let's get it done.
That's fair. That's good to look at it.
Yeah.
And then for me, I have a Facebook page that I haven't posted anything to, because between work and teaching and everything else, it's just having the time, or finding the time and the energy to sit down and create content, where, especially with what I want to do, requires a lot of research that I don't have the time to do. And then even now, starting next week, is going to get super busy, and I'm going to be even less motivated than before, because I'm not going to have the energy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You'll figure it out. It's small incremental steps. I know, like, yesterday I had to rewrite a bunch of my tasks on my whiteboard, because I look at it and I'm like, there's so much crap on here, but a lot of it is like stalled right now because of the situation. Either they can't move forward because people can't come here, or they can't move forward because I don't have dates and I don't have confirmation. I don't have this or that I can actually put together. So it's like, well, only half of that is actually needing to get done right now. Let's get all that out of the way in incremental steps. So like yesterday I recorded the guitar for 3 of my covers, and then I got to edit a podcast today for a buddy, because of course I took that on. I'm editing a buddy's podcast, and I just went, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll help. Yeah. And then I'm getting a call from Swanee Boy, but yeah, I got to go help him set up his interface. That's the next step after this today, is helping him get his computer ready so that he can start tracking demos and all that fun stuff and finally get to that end of thing and get away from Guitar Pro MIDI?
Oh, no, he was a guitar. I mean, again, I don't know anything about guitar or Guitar Pro. All I know is that anything I've ever heard come out of Guitar Pro MIDI makes me bleed.
Oh, see, he's a good songwriter. Like, he definitely goes out of the way to write it as close to how it's going to be played, and he writes all the parts. It's MIDI. It's like Game Boy SNES, like, boss music. It's like, I can't wait to hear how this would actually sound.
Did you just put your phone on record and let me hear the guitar play?
Yeah. So I'm going to help him with that, but I'm sure you'll figure out your things. You, unlike most of us, have the both pleasure and unfortunate, I guess, circumstance at the same time to be one of our required services for all of this. So
just wait till it blows over. I'm just going to go back to being a retail gopher again. It'll happen.
Oh, probably.
I mean, and that's the other thing. It's really weird because my life, other than upending some of the musical projects I had been working on, which I can't go out and practice with or jam with anymore, my life really has changed. The unfortunate part is that I don't have time to adjust to the isolation aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a day off. And, okay, right. Beautiful day. It's sunny. What am I going to do? Oh, right.
Nothing.
I can't do it.
That's that. You know what you can do? That's when you can sit down from the laptop with a nice hot pot of coffee and think about what you can get done for the website.
For the well, the website itself, I don't.
Or for yourself, or like any of the other stuff. Like, you know what?
What I've been doing is just grinding out riffs and stuff on the piano, trying to learn different techniques. Again, teaching myself. So coming up with learning different scales and things like that, so that I can do the actual music production side of things. Because it just, in my mind, teaching is taking a backseat unless somebody finds me. Because again, I don't want to market it for the simple fact that I don't want to feel I'm pushing an expense on people, especially right now.
No, definitely.
I don't want to be that guy. I'd love to be that guy, but I don't want to be that guy.
But on that note, if you are a vocalist and you want some help and you have a spare $40, you know, you should definitely. Pardon?
So the original, or the set price now is $45, unless you were one of my guinea pigs. You get whatever price you got when I was teaching you. That's fine. But right now, for everybody, it's going down to, I want to say 25, 30. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what the affordable thing is, because I want to be able to help people, but again.
No, that makes sense. If and that's why I think that's really good that you're reducing that, because if you are a vocalist that just wants that little bit of extra help, that extra $25, $30, whatever it ends up being, that's, in this point in time, you have nothing but time to practice if you're stuck at home. So you can take that time and have that session with you, and now you got a bunch of extra time to go and apply it. And that's where I found I really growed, was when I actually went and applied the write-up after the fact and constantly went back to it and reutilized the things that were in there. And so if you are an aspiring vocalist, whether you're in rap, metal, rock, it doesn't really fucking matter. Just if you want to get a good assessment on where it is you're at, what you need to work on, hit up Advantage Vocal Lessons, either on Facebook or just at the URL advantagevocallessons.com, and give Zach a message.
Actually, it's Advantage. Hold on, I can't even remember what the fucking URL.
Pull it up.
I know it's dot. I think it's advantagevocals.
Advantage Vocal Lessons on Facebook.
Vocals.ca.
AdvantageVocals.ca.
The website too, because I haven't adjusted the pricing. Not that I've gotten any, hits on my website, because I haven't marketed it. But, in case somebody goes.
Yep. And I actually have it pulled up on screen here, and I'm recording my screen capture. So, because I'm thinking I might make a video. I'm not exactly sure. We'll see where that goes. But if I did, this is what it looks like. Go take a look. Join the mailing list. Book a lesson. There's a little thing right here where you can check out all the other stuff. If you go to the extra and you see the affiliates, you'll see my ugly name in there somewhere, as well as some really cool people. Like, Sterling's cool, James is cool, Glenn's cool, Mike's cool. This Nate guy, I'm not too sure about him.
I mean, he didn't even get a drowning pool pun. I wouldn't trust him.
No, I wouldn't trust him either. But go if that's something that interests you, go check that out. Zach's a solid dude. I guess we're getting close. I guess just the natural end of this. Is there anything you want to bring up to wrap us up here?
I would like to say that with every vocal lesson, you get 1 cigar. No, I'm just kidding. Every vocal lesson comes with a free write-up. So it'll be kind of an overview of what you need to work on, some exercises, different things you can do to work to improve, as well as unlimited access to for some. I don't want to be just giving away all of my services.
But I want all the services for free.
Well, all I'm going to tell you right now is you're not going to get any of the services for free if you keep acting like a spoiled little brat.
Oh!
Other things to bring up, I can't think of anything else. It's just been kind of nice chatting to somebody, who's not a customer or their door.
That's fair. That's fair. And I guess to close off, one thing that you have been doing to have fun or stay entertained during this time.
Bombarding everybody I know on Facebook Messenger with all of my riffs and diddles that I am super proud of because I've only been playing piano for 6 months and I'm basically like that kid that learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I am hurt. I thought I was the only one receiving these. I thought they were secret. No.
Definitely receiving them. Just, you're not the only one. I'm sorry.
It's Glenn, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he is helping.
Yeah.
Technically, you're receiving Glenn and myself.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. But no, that's awesome. I have been playing a bit too much Apex in Warzone, and I watched the 2-day WrestleMania this past weekend, and all I can say is even if you're not a fan, the Bray Wyatt John Cena match is fucking awesome. It's not even a match. Like, literally, it's one of they did 2 basically off-location filmed matches. So night 1 was the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles, which literally ended with AJ getting buried alive. And because of the isolation, they're taking the benefits of taking a more cinematic approach. So, like, there's a few things that definitely wouldn't happen, but it was cool. And then Bray Wyatt's thing, basically he creates this character called The Fiend. It was like...
That dude with the teeth
with the mask and the yeah, and so it's a Firefly Funhouse match, and the promo Cena cut the SmackDown before is like, this Sunday we're gonna see the eradication of the most overhyped to overprivileged superstar in history. And Bray starts off maybe being like, and now Cena's gonna fight his worst opponent ever, himself. Cut to Cena in the funhouse going through the door, and they recreate his debut match against Angle. They recreate Thugonomics Cena. They have him pretend to be Hulk Hogan a few times, cutting an old Saturday Night Main Event promo. And it gets to a point where Cena literally starts figuring out that he truly is just this modern version of Hulk Hogan, and he's done nothing to actually elevate superstars. And unlike Hulk Hogan, he didn't turn heel, so he couldn't do anything to help anyone else. So it ends with him beating up this stuffed pig doll, which is a representation of Bray Wyatt back in NXT in 2010 when he was known as Huskus Harris. And he's beating it up, and he's like, what the fuck? And then the Fiend just comes up from behind him and chokes him, pins him, and then Bray, due to how they edit it and cut it, so they have Bray as the Fiend, and then they have Bray and Mr. Rogers get up. Mr. Rogers Bray counts the pinfall and just stares at the camera smiling, and then the Fiend stands up and Cena just magically disappears.
Yeah, but I'm wearing a Mr. Rogers t-shirt that says hello neighbor.
Literally, that's what there's Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt, and then there's Fiend Bray Wyatt. It's fucking there's so much more they do in this match, but I watched it 4 times in the first 24 hours it went live.
Wow. And
I usually don't rewatch matches. Usually it's that was good. Maybe I'll rewatch a part of it, but there's something I don't like the finish or I don't blah. This was thank you, Matt Hardy, for everything you did 3 years ago, because this shit wouldn't exist without you doing this weird broken universe crap in TNA.
Oh, that's awesome, though. I like that especially with things like the WWE, and I mean, Dana White. I don't know if you saw, but
he's going to an island.
Yeah, he's buying an island like fucking Ronaldo to host UFC fights, and everyone's going
$1 billion.
1 billion UFC fights.
Ah.
And even all of the UFC medical staff, everybody's going, no, bad idea, no. Somebody take the money away from him.
Yeah. It's just, it's weird. It's weird how things are going. WWE's actually trying to get away with, because there's a stay-at-home act in Florida right now, which is where the Performance Center is located. They're trying to get away with still doing tapings and shows by saying the Performance Center is the home of the WWE and all of its superstars. Because they're all basically they're like freelance agents. They're subcontracted, but they can't work anywhere else. So they're trying to get away with that. And well, Vince and Trump are very tight. So Vince has already kind of teased that if he needs to, he'll just go one step above the Florida governorship and just be like, and talk to Trump and try to figure out a way to become a necessity.
Hey, Trump, you want entertainment? Oh, I love entertainment. It's tremendous entertainment.
It's keeping us distracted during these horrible times. I know.
Oh, Wrestling Entertainment Federation is in fact the miracle cure for the coronavirus.
Everyone just needs to try it. Just try it.
Everybody needs to go through a table. Everybody needs a steel chair to the head.
You know what? It's a great time. With that, I gotta go and help a buddy. And I gotta do a lot of other stuff. So everyone, one last. I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, actually.
Dude, you should eat first. Trust me, it's worth it.
I'll get there.
Swad will understand.
I'll get there. But everyone, check out Zach out Advantage Vocal Lessons. Zach, thank you for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me. It's been so much fun.
You are the first one out of these quarantine interviews. So.
But I do more, only without the camera, so that I can, I don't know. I'm not any different. Just fucking call me sometime. Goddamn. Thank you for having.
That was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed the interview with Zach. I hope you are all ready for a few more interviews to come, as I have had the time to sit down and talk to some really cool people. Some of them have been on the show. Some of them have not been on the show before. So it's going to be a good mixture of old friends and new friends on here. So I hope you all are looking forward to that. Maybe we'll release these a bit more frequently. With that, there is video on YouTube if you're listening to this on audio and you want to kind of see things. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for taking the time to check it out. The last song we're going to put on is one that Mason and I were teasing for a while, but we never got to. It is a track off of our debut EP, Deadlights. Off our band, Deadlights debut EP, No Hope for the Lost. It is the second track. No, this is the fourth track on the EP. I was going to say a different song. Silly me. But I hope you guys all enjoy it. This is Death of Honor. We recorded it with Chandler Weinkoff and Theron Johnson. They did all the recording and editing for us. And then I tracked vocals here at home and did the mixing here. So it was a nice collaborative effort. Theron was really helpful in figuring out some drum bits while I was behind the kit. And Chandler was a dream to work with. So if you are in need of help, you can ask any of us. Theron Johnson runs TJ Audio on Instagram and Facebook, so you can find that. You can find Chandler Weinkoff on Facebook and on Instagram as well. And then let you guys know where to find me. I'm here, there, everywhere. So without further ado, this is Death of Honor by Deadlights off the No Hope for the Lost EP, available on all streaming platforms.